You ever been driving or just sitting there and your mind just wanders and you think, what if? What if I'd taken that other job? What if I'd moved to that city? What if I'd said yes when I said no? Well, that feeling, that kind of constant hum of another life running parallel to your own, that's exactly what we're getting into in this explainer. And honestly, it's an idea that might just change how you think about your own story.
Just think about that for a second. The whole idea is that you're kind of living in two places at once. One of them, you know, like the back of your hand. The other, well, the other you only know in your imagination. But what if that imagined place? What if it's just as real, in its own way?
All right, so let's start with this core idea, this metaphor of the two cities that define your life. This is really the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, check this out. It's all about the contrast, right? On one side, you've got the city you actually live in. You know its addresses, the annoying transit delays, even its grief. You feel its map in your body. It's real, with, as it says here, asphalt and consequence. But then, you have the other side, the city you almost moved to. That's a sustained hypothetical. It's home to a different version of you. And it's not just some fantasy. It's real with what's called the pressure of absence. It's like a void, but a void with a very specific shape that you can actually feel.
So this idea of an absent presence, it's not just some random thought that pops into your head. It's a constant. It's actually described as a permanent companion to the life you're living right now. And this quote just nails it. This isn't about a good life versus a bad one, or making the right choice versus the wrong one. The whole point is that your choices don't just erase the other options. They actually carry them forward, like shadows. You live in the world of what happened, but it's always held inside this larger field of what didn't.
And there's a name for this whole thing, the shadow life. See, it's not just a memory or a regret. It's an active field of possibility that's always there, framing your reality. You know that weird feeling you get when you see someone else living a version of a life you chose against? Yeah, that's the shadow life making itself known.
So, now that we have a name for it, how do we, navigate it? Turns out, we can use a kind of map, a way to categorize these different almosts that we all carry around with us.
And these are the main territories on that map. First up, the path you consciously chose against. You saw the fork in the road, and you deliberately walked the other way. Second, there's the path that just closed on you, because of things totally outside your control. Third, and this one is fascinating, is the path you didn't even realize was a path until years later. And finally, you've got the path that's still technically open, that project you keep putting off, that move you haven't totally ruled out. Each one feels totally different, right? Carries a different weight.
Okay, this is so important. This whole thing, it is not just another word for regret. There's a huge distinction here. Regret looks backward at something you did, and it's almost always a judgment, a feeling that you got it wrong. But the shadow life, it looks sideways. It's not about a mistake, it's about who you might have become. And that isn't always a bad feeling. Sometimes thinking about it can actually be a huge source of relief.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful idea of all. If this shadow life isn't just about pain or what-ifs, then what is it for? Well, what if it's actually a teacher?
Think of your shadow life as a kind of mirror. The things that you feel the most loss for, well, they point directly to what you truly deeply value. The paths you're so glad you didn't take, they show you the true shape of who you are right now by showing you who you are not. It reminds you that your life wasn't some inevitable script. You made real choices. And maybe most importantly, it can give you clues about what's still possible for you, right here, right now.
And that's where we'll leave it. That conversation in your head, the one between your lived life and your unlived life, it isn't just noise. It's a signal. It's this ongoing dialogue that actually makes you who you are. So the question isn't how to shut it up. The question is how to listen. Your unlived life is talking. What is it trying to tell you?